Google this sentence. Why are there no black referees in the EPL? And see what you get.
Chelsea, seriously, I just want you to know that I was here when this happened.
It's a stretch, and it's in, and I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Aguero! Guess who? It's him again.
What's up, and welcome to Absolute Sitter. I'm your host, Mac. And I want to thank you for checking out my content. Boy, today, I don't know, I'm going to ruffle some feathers. I'm going to go there. I'm going to say something that normally people wouldn't say on camera. We're going to talk about referees and what's going on with the refereeing so far in the Premier League specifically, and probably on a whole. So there has always been this campaign to respect the refs and respect what their decisions are made on the field. I am seeing, and ever since it's been introduced, there has been this opposition to VAR. Whenever there's change and there's technology being introduced to the game, I understand it's always going to be controversial and, oh, we're ruining the game. There's always a big worry that, you know, things that use replay are going to slow down the game and somehow it's going to become American football with a bunch of downs and stops. First of all, that's not the nature of the game. Basketball is very, very fluid and has replays and multiple refs, and the game isn't stopped entirely, or the flow of the game isn't stopped entirely in this manner. So I think some of these fears, while I understand where they come from, are irrational. Why do I bring up VAR? Well, some of the refereeing decisions of late have been more than controversial, if I'm being honest. Right? Some of them have been downright atrocious, against and in favor of my club. So much so that now, even when we see a soft foul, and it is a foul, we're now saying that the referee got it wrong because we're so upset from other times that we're seeing inconsistency. This is wrongly being blamed on VAR somehow. I want you guys to really think about what you're saying. It's as if saying goal line technology is being misinterpreted by a human being and we're cussing at goal line technology. The VAR, the virtual assistant to the referee, the ability to go back and watch something over is not the problem. It's the people who are interpreting it and the way that it's being implemented in the game. First of all, this shadow thing of when VAR is doing a check and are they going to look back at this and they don't look back at yellow cards and why are we doing this? Get the calls right. The first problem that everyone has with VAR is that it's inconsistent. Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't get it right. And why everybody's going to feel bad about this is, don't get it right against me if you're not going to get it right against him. And that's basically what majority of the argument against VAR is. 9 times out of 10 are even more than an accuracy of 90%. 99 times out of 100, VAR is going to get the call right if it is reviewed and we're looking at it. Because you're able to see what you're not looking at live. You're able to go back and look at it and get the call right. Let's go back to Chelsea and Spurs. I know Spurs fans. I know you guys are tired of hearing about this. But just look how egregious this was. And look at the comment that the VAR referee made after. He's saying that initially, when he saw it in person, he didn't deem it to look like a violent act. But on further review after the game, when it's already cost 2 points to another team, it's stonewall definitely a violent act. One, the player was not suspended for it, retroactively suspended. So there was nothing that came from it. Two, your apology, non-apology was kind of silly because it's saying that you weren't even that sure when you first saw it. So go back and look at it. What stops it? Are we being charged? Is there some kind of amount of times that you're allowed to make a VAR replay? What is going on? Let's get 3 referees up there, and if at least 2 of them say that something should be reviewed, the referee on field is called over, they review it, and then they make the call. And then we can talk from there. The live referee on the pitch, in every other sport, we have multiple referees making calls. For some reason, football is in opposition to this, and other than the linesmen who have a specific job that they're supposed to be getting right, and they're now being aided by goal line technology and all kinds of eagle eye technology to know when someone is offside and all of this, and all they really have to do is kind of put their flag up and watch with the naked eye. No one's complaining about these offside calls as much, and no one is complaining about goal line technology because it's being implemented the right way. VAR is being mishandled, I think, almost on purpose at this point. Now, this is not all about VAR. This is going to be a bigger argument about refereeing. Another problem that I'm having with refereeing, there is absolutely no accountability. There's no consequences for these referees when they get the calls wrong. There is nothing that happens retroactively, nothing. For me, there should be an independent panel now that can look at the referees' quality of calls and rank the referees to make sure that we have a hierarchy of higher rated referees calling these bigger matches of consequence. And maybe if you're getting a call wrong and it's egregious situation where the call was really wrong, you can have maybe a suspension, maybe a game off, maybe you get put down to the lower leagues, you drop ranks, something. But there needs to be some kind of consequence to getting these calls wrong. You cannot expect us to respect an authority which we see go totally unchecked. This is the same problem that we have in society with police. If we never see those people reprimanded or held to a higher standard for when they get it wrong, then don't ask us to respect them when they're supposedly getting it right. It's that simple. Just consequence. When a player does something and they go back, they can retroactively suspend that player. When a player does something on field and it's caught at that point, there's a yellow card for that player. There's a red card for egregious fouls. No one is vilifying those players. When they come back from suspension, they've served their time, they've served their consequence, and they come back and they play. Simple as that. But to have a referee, for example, in Chelsea's case, that when the referees are announced for the game, the whole fan base is up in an uproar over this guy because he consistently has issues with calling things right. There's got to be a problem with that. There's got to be an independent board that would even say, hey, there should be no referee that we know by name. Because a good referee is a referee that allows the real spectacle, the football match, to be the spectacle. When we start learning referees' names, it's usually a bad thing. It's because of bad calls or something along those lines. They should remain nameless because of the fact that they're just doing their job proficiently and we're not distracted by them. But when it becomes a big event to see who the referee is, and every time a referee is called against a certain match, that the whole fan base loses their shit, there's something to be said there. And there needs to be some kind of consequence or ranking system, something that goes into play. Also, you experiment and see if maybe Google is just giving me different response from this. Another problem that I have in this is going to be super controversial, and it doesn't necessarily fix any of the problems that the referees are having. But Google this sentence: why are there no black referees in the EPL? And see what you get. What I got as my response was the Mirror reporting that even though they want to say that the game is all about stomping out racism, and the same thing can be said about management, it has been since 2008. Hello? 2008 since we've had a minority ref on the field. There's not enough diversity there. There definitely needs to be more diversity. And the reason why I say that is you ask any minority fan if there are preferential calls that seem to go along racial basis, and they will definitely tell you, while they won't admittedly want to talk about it because no one wants to talk about race, even in real life, let alone in sports that's supposed to be some kind of getaway from real life, right? But it's a reality. We see things differently and called by pundits, called by commentary, called by referee, by who it is. I'm not going to call any names, but you know the poster boys for the EPL, and somehow they get touched in the back and they go down, and it's smart, and they knew that they were going to feel the contact, and they're just being, wildly and wise and this. Someone else does this and they're a foreign-based player and they're brown or black. Oh, it's a dive, and oh, this is what's wrong with modern football. That's modern football for you. The same exact move. And it's also being called in this manner. So refereeing, first things first, fix how VAR is being implemented. Because blaming the technology is as dumb as me blaming this camera for putting out bad content. If you don't like my content, I'm the person to blame for that. Not the technology, not the lighting, not the camera, none of those things. Not YouTube, uploading it in 4K versus 1080p. None of those things is what makes or breaks my content. Same thing here. The technology is there to assist the referee. If the calls are being wrong, it's not VAR. It's the referees that are getting the calls wrong. Which plays into the next thing. There needs to be consequences. You want us to respect these people? I'm not saying once I see a referee suspended or held, so some kind of consequence, I find something for getting a call wrong, that when I see him again, I'm always going to mark that referee. I'm not. I'll say you've done your time, you've paid your price for getting that call wrong, and fair enough. And I'll have more respect going forward because I know that they're not just above the law. And lastly, diversity. Even in what I just said a while ago about the referees, I just automatically referred to the referee as him because we have no diversity. And even the Mirror's article was from April of 2022. So this was just around the corner. But it was the last minority ref that we had was in 2008. And we're at the tail end of 2022. That tells you that this needs diversity, not only to get calls in different aspects, but just to relate to players differently and have a better understanding of the game. We need, just like the Premier League, to have inputs from all over the world. That's what makes the Premier League great on the pitch, and it's what's going to make refereeing better if we're getting input from all over. It's the global game. This is world's football, not American football, world's football. And we need the diversity. Yes, it's the English Premier League, but it doesn't mean that all I want to see is white Brits running up and down calling the matches. I'll say it. I'm sure there might be some people that will lose their mind or thumbs down this once I've gone into the whole racial aspect of this. But you guys comment below, let me know why I'm right, why I'm wrong. I'm looking forward to this conversation that no one wants to have and see what you guys think is going on with refereeing. Do you agree with me? Do you think that the referees are just getting a bad rap? Are they getting it wrong? Are they getting it wrong for some other reasons that I didn't outline? I'd love to hear from you guys. I look forward to hearing what you guys say, even if you disagree with me. Until the next one, don't get caught in front of goal and miss an absolute sitter.